Hello, I'm Steven, and today I'm going to be showing you how to solve for x by completing the square. First, we need an equation in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We need to make sure b is equal to 0. So, step 1 for completing the square is make a equal to 1. So, divide everything in this side of the equation by a. Step 2 is to subtract c across after making a 1. Step 3 is to add b over 2 squared to both sides. Step 4 is to factor the left side of the equation, being what's left with the x squared. And step 5 is to square root both sides, find the square root of both sides. And step 6 is to isolate x, giving us multiple or one value of x equals. Alright, let's just jump right into it. I've got a practice equation right here. X squared plus 14x plus 24 equals 0. Step 1, make a equal 1. Well, that's x squared. There's no a. That means a already is 1. Step 2, let's subtract our c. So we get x squared plus 14x plus, no plus 24 anymore, equals negative 24. Step 3 is to find b over 2 squared and add it to both sides. So b over 2 squared is going to be 14 over 2, in parentheses, squared. 14 over 2 is 7. 7 squared is 49. Now with that 49, what we're going to do is we're going to add it to both sides. X squared plus 14x plus 49 now equals negative 24 plus 49. The negative 24 plus 49 can be simplified down to 25. With that 25 there, now we are going to factor the x squared plus 14x plus 49, which will be, let's choose a color. Dang, I dropped all the markers. Well, let's keep going. Which will give us x plus 7 squared equals 25. And if you remember, step 5 is to find the square root of both sides. Picking up a marker from the floor, x plus 7 equals plus or minus 5, because it can be positive or negative whenever you square root things. So with that positive or negative 5, we're going to write two equations. X plus 7 equals positive 5, and x plus 7 equals negative 5. And now here's where we get on to step 6, where we solve further for x. X plus 7 equals positive 5. We do x plus, we do minus 7 on both sides, so we do x equals, that's two equal signs, sorry, negative 2. And on the other side, negative 5, we also subtract 7, x equals negative 12. So negative 2 and negative 12 are our answers for this equation. Okay, let's go for a slightly harder question. 2x squared plus 8x minus 4 equals 0. First things first, we need to make that a equal 1. So we divide everything in the equation by 2, because the a value is 2. That leaves us with x squared plus 4x minus 2 equals 0. Our next step is to subtract the c, or cancel out the c and send it to the other side. So we add 2 to both sides. So we have x squared plus 4x equals 2. With that, we now go on to step 3, in which we find b over 2 squared and add it to both sides. Our b value is 4, so we take 4 over 2, and then we square it. 4 over 2 is 2, and we square that, and that gives us 4. Add 4 to both sides, it gives us x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 6, because 2 plus 6 is 4. I mean, 2 plus 4 is 6, sorry. Next step is to factor this left side. That will give us x plus 2 in parentheses squared equals 6. Step 5, we find the square root of both sides, in which, so the square root of x plus 2 squared is just x plus 2, just like any other equation, equals the square root of 6, because 6 is weird and is bad with being squared. There is no 2. There's not a very easy number you can write that'll be that. Next, we're going to solve to get x alone by subtracting that 2. X equals radical 6, let's make sure we don't have that going over the 2, minus 2. That's all we can do because we can't find the square root of 6. We don't need to write two equations. Here we have a more challenging equation. Negative 4x squared minus 12x plus 3 equals negative 2. First things first, we need to get it into ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we got to add that 2 over to make that equal to 0. So negative 4x squared minus 12x plus 5 equals 0 now. Now we deal with our negative 4 as our a. So what we do is we divide everything by negative 4, since that's the a value, and we can't have the a value be negative. So we have x squared plus 3x, because negative 12 divided by negative 4 is going to be 3, minus 5 over 4 equals 0. Now we got to do step 2, in which we cancel c out and put it onto the other side. So since c is a negative, we add c to both sides. X squared plus 3x equals positive 5 over 4. Now we find b over 2, and we square it, and we add it to both sides. So b is 3 over 2 squared. So 3 over 2 squared, we square top and bottom individually, 9 over 4. That's going to be what we add to both sides. This equation has a lot of fractions in it. So x squared plus 3x plus 9 over 4 equals 9 over 4 plus 5 over 4. 9 over 4 plus 5 over 4 is going to be 14 over 4, because we just add those together. So with our next equation, we're going to factor, and we're going to write in that 14 over 4. So we factor x squared plus 3x plus 9/4 gives us x plus 3 over 2 squared, because we just take half of the b value for that, and then equals 14 divided by 4. Now, with x plus 3 over 2 squared, we can simplify this, but we're not into 2x plus 3, because it is a fraction. We'll do that, and equals, so 14 over 4 can simplify. We'll go 14 over 4 can simplify to 7 over 2. Now, what we do is we find the square root of both sides. This is a lot. So what we're doing here, we find the square root of both sides. The square root of 2x plus 3 is still just 2x plus 3. And that'll equal just the square root of 7 over 2, because that is a crazy number that we don't want to have to get into. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to just subtract the 3 over to the other side to get the x alone. So we have now 2x equals square root of 7 divided by 2 minus 3. Okay, from here, we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get 1x alone, because we don't want the value of 2x, we want the value of 1x. So everything over 2 and everything on this side over 2. X equals the square root of 7 over 2 minus 3, everything over 2. I'm Steven. This has been Completing the Square to Solve for X, and have a good day. Thanks for watching.